Alright guys, welcome back to some more of the house in Fata Morgana. So I know you guys have started noticing that I had to mute aspects of parts of the videos in my gameplay, in my game throughs, because of the fact that there's copyright claims on it. And well, which made me decide with I could either forego the music altogether and just continue recording from there. But I honestly feel like removing the background music for this type of visual novel removes the ambiance and essence of the game. So what I ended up doing was starting in future videos, including this one, if I happen to find a claim on it, I'm just gonna re-record, and the parts that aren't claimed, I'm gonna leave with the background music and continue on with the standard, me reading it through. So for those out there that were kind of disappointed that I had to mute some of my videos, you won't have to worry about that anymore. You'll still hear me. So I just want to make myself clear on that and let you guys know that, moving forward with this game, I'm going to continue recording and you'll hear my voice again. I'm just going to remove the background music on the stuff that's claimed. So thank you all for your patience and for the long intro. I apologize for that, but I just needed to make that part clear. And with that said, let's just get to it now. Alright, and we are back. Understood. Giselle methodically recounted her tale for me. She told me of how she accepted an offer from the Bollingers to work as an Abigail to earn money for her family. Of how my father, Antonin, had other plans for her. Of the things he did to her. She spoke dryly, simply putting words to each event, one after the other. I had already seen how she felt deep down though. Had heard her pain screams, which were undoubtedly genuine. I didn't think she was trying to deceive me. That was the sound of old wounds being torn open, and even I could see that. Or perhaps my own experiences were what allowed me to see it. Regardless, I had realized too late. I should have seen it sooner. She had described it all mechanically, to remain detached from what had happened to her, to protect herself. Of that, I had no doubts. Still, the things she told me were almost unbearable, and I had a difficult time accepting them. What was I supposed to do? When I learned my father was a rapist, how was I supposed to react to that revelation? What was I supposed to think? About the fact that his blood flowed through me. I repulsed myself. Do you want all the details? What do you mean? Of the wounds he gave me? I still have scars from the things he did. If you don't believe me, I can show them to you. No, that won't be necessary. I see. That's a relief. I don't think I could have handled that right now. I hadn't turned down her offer for her sake. I only did so because I didn't think I could take any more. I averted my eyes to protect myself. Why had I taken my mother's word, brushing aside everything Giselle had said and done? I knew good and well my mother was no longer in her right mind. So why had I thought her letter the truth? Why had I been unable to think rationally? There were, I believe, several factors. My childhood, my past, the witch's whispers, and above all, my own character, consumed with distrust for everything. I had to face it now, to open my eyes once more, to look at everything I had pretended away until now. I was not completely blameless for her suffering after all. Please continue, if you will. I left off at a point where the mistress discovered what was happening, I believe. I was sent to this mansion to atone for my sins. Sins that she didn't even commit. It was decided that I would be sent here rather than being executed, which is what the mistress wanted. At first, I assumed it would be essentially a private prison. But in the carriage on the way here, I was given a letter. A letter? From whom? It didn't say, but your father was the one who ordered me here, so I would guess it was him. The letter was very concise, simply explaining that there was someone already there. The Bollinger's youngest child. It didn't go into any more detail than that, but it did ask me to look after you. Do you still have the letter? I don't. The coachman took it back after I was finished. Thinking back on it now, that was rather strange of him to do. It was just a harmless letter. It was anything but. What? It wasn't my father who wrote that letter. He believes me to be dead, so he would have sincerely thought he was banishing you to an empty house in a remote forest. The writer couldn't risk leaving anything that might suggest I was still alive. Then who? My brother, I believe. Either Didier or Georges. Georges? Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But I would guess Didier. Your brother? Why would he? I do not know. I can't imagine why he would write such a letter, or why he would want to tell you about me. I don't believe he had any ill intentions, at least. I mean, he asked me to look after you. That makes it sound like he's concerned about you. Then why doesn't he stay in contact? Why does he never respond to my letters? It's a bit late to suddenly start being concerned. No, never mind that now. Please, tell me the rest. Alright. Giselle resumed her story from the day she fled the mansion, terrified by my behavior. She seemed to be putting a bit more emotion in her tone of voice now, perhaps because she could see I was more interested in this part. There was a deep sadness on her face as she described that night in the rain, listening to the thunder when she gave up on living. And I knew I had caused it. She then told me of the time she spent in the nearby village, how at first life had seemed wonderful, but in time it had come crumbling down. Naturally, she wouldn't be here to tell me this if nothing had happened there. Once she was through with her tale, Giselle let out a long, heavy sigh, as though she had been holding it in for some time. I thought I could hear just a faint trembling in the air she exhaled. That is everything. Do you believe me? If you don't, if you still think I'm deceiving you, then I won't argue with you. That's fine. If that's the case, please just kill me. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I know I wasn't very open to anything you said, but if, that day, when I found you in my room, you had told me I was mistaken, that the sin belonged to my father, it might not have turned out like this. The knife. What? You were holding a knife. I can't handle blades anymore. Ever since what happened, they scare me to death. Just the sight of one in someone's hand, and I start thinking they're going to use it on me. I can't help it. I start shaking uncontrollably, growing faint of breath. The world goes white. I can't even form words. There's nothing I can do. Ah, now I finally see. She was grimacing in pain. The day the package arrived, when you knocked my hand away. Because I was scared. Because it reminded me of that time. I had assumed she was simply jumping from a guilty conscience. I felt nauseous realizing I had been pouring a constant stream of salt onto her unmendable wounds. What a damn fool I was. Why did you get so upset at me? Why did you have to point a knife at me? I didn't want you snooping. If you meant to sell information about me, I thought I had to do anything in my power to stop you. I'm still not convinced it was necessary. I was unarmed. I couldn't fight back. You didn't need a knife. I have nothing left anymore, so I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel. You're a jerk. What you did was inexcusable. You may not have hurt me physically, but you still hurt me. Humans are frail creatures. They wound easily. Apologize. What? Apologize to me. I said apologize. I'm sorry. Again, put your heart into it. Convince me you mean it. I'm sorry. Again, once more. Get down on your knees and shout it from your gut. I'm so very sorry. Was that a laugh? Jeez, you're such a strange man. Strange? You told me to do it. Nothing's going like I thought it would. I figured even if we talked, you would just deny everything I said. I didn't think you'd actually listen to me. But you did. You listened, and you looked quite distressed by what you heard. I looked distressed? Oh yes, you sure did. I wish I had a mirror to show you. I'm sure you didn't want to believe what I said, but you didn't once accuse me of lying. You faced up to the truth and you apologized. I seem to have had the wrong impression of you as well. I didn't try to see you for who you were, instead letting myself believe you were someone to be afraid of. To be honest, I didn't like you very much. The feeling was mutual. But for some reason, I don't feel that way now. Is it guilt? I need to apologize to you too. Apologize for what? I led the villagers here. I almost sold my soul to the devil. I tried to sell you out to save myself. And for that, I am truly sorry. I don't understand. What? Do I need to get down on my knees too? No, that's not what I meant. The blame falls on the village for falsely accusing you of stealing. You were a convenient scapegoat for the real thieves. They planned to take advantage of you from the start. That Amade was probably in on it as well, to get back at you for rejecting his proposal. Plus, giving the village a single target to let out their frustrations on would, in a way, help unify them. He used you to meet that end. In order to escape from their trap, you told them about me. But this was after I had threatened you, causing you to flee from this place. You have nothing to apologize for. Still, I still feel really bad about it. So, I'm sorry anyway. You're unexpectedly stubborn. But now that we both apologize to each other, we can call everything square. Square? Square. We were both in the wrong. So we apologized and we forgave each other. She gave a little smile, but all I could do was stare at her, brow furrowed in perplexity, like I was looking at some bizarre fantasyland creature. The weight of our crimes was not equal. What I had done to her was so very much worse. Furthermore, I am Antonin's son. His blood flows through me. Can you honestly say you don't find me revolting? That you're willing to forgive me for that? I didn't think I would be able to. If I were her, my grudge would extend to all of my family, everyone I had ever come in contact with. I can. Although you don't need forgiveness for being his son. Being related to someone doesn't make you responsible for their sins. It wouldn't be fair to blame you for that. You're curious. What? Curious? About what? No, not that curious. You're a strange creature. I'm human, you know. Yes, I know you're human. You're making me lightheaded. Is it a medical emergency? That's quite the leap in logic. You know, I was at my lowest just a little bit ago, and now I'm laughing again. It's odd. I never expected I would recover at all. I was just as surprised as her. She had been through hell, and she had more than enough reason to despise me, to shower me with vitriol, but instead she was smiling. And even more unexpected was the fact that I felt relieved to see it. Oh, so the bonding finally begins. I really, truly wish I had gotten to know him sooner. Yes, I had fled from the mansion in fear of him, but maybe if I had just a little more courage, enough to tell him the truth, maybe he would have listened. I had let my initial impression of him solidify too quickly. I had convinced myself he was insensitive and perpetually expressionless, save for the Arctic stare. But the man standing before me did experience sadness, pain, distress, or, at the very least, he appeared to from where I was standing. Michel was just like me, an ordinary person. That said, there was still plenty I didn't know. I was still lacking explanations for much of his behavior. Would you mind telling me about yourself now? I'd like to get to know you better. What are you doing here in this mansion all alone? Why do you call yourself cursed? I told you everything. It's only fair you do the same. I have no interest in using your information for anything. I have no reason to. Or are you gonna keep pushing the master and servant line? Do you still think I have no need to know? Be quiet. For the love of God, stop talking already. You always pick the worst time. What? Excuse me, what do you mean I always pick the worst time? No, I wasn't. Unbelievable. Just when I was starting to think you might actually be a decent human being. Then you go and spout this. No, Giselle, I wasn't talking to you. Who else could it have been? I was, talking to, you know. I have a condition that forces me to vocalize objections to my own thoughts. You know, that's about as convincing as my allergic to people excuse. Sorry. Weirdo. What crosses did he bear? What secrets did he keep? Maybe the truth was far beyond my reckoning. And if it was, even if he did, please tell me everything. No matter what you say, I won't doubt your words. I will trust you, and I'm sure I can accept anything you say. Please. If you don't put it into words, I have nothing to work with. Okay. Where should I start, though? How about the curse, then? Are you actually cursed? That's a difficult question. I cannot, for example, take someone's life with my curse, nor can I bring about disaster. I don't have any magical powers like that. Ah, so that part of the story is fake. He really doesn't have those abilities. Okay. Good to know. So, what you said outside was a bluff then? It was just a way to chase the villagers away. Well, you certainly put on a convincing performance. So you can't actually curse anyone, huh? Regardless, I am human. Nothing more, nothing less. At least, I consider myself one. Others would disagree, and the reason for that has to do with my body. Your skin, hair, and eye color, right? Right. Seeing Michel under the sun, he certainly wasn't what most people would consider normal. Awe-inspiring, in fact. Giving birth to me, it broke my mother. No, I drove her mad. Not only do I appear inhuman, I'm oversensitive to sunlight. While a little light through the window isn't much of a problem, I can't be outside directly under the sun for more than a couple of hours. When she realized I couldn't go out into the sun, my mother started thinking I was possessed by a demon. So she banished me to this mansion until my curse was broken. That was 10 years ago. Just because you look different from them? The family's reputation was at stake too. If other noble houses realized they were giving refuge to an unholy creature, it would destroy the Bollingers. You saw how the villagers reacted. They called me a demon when they saw me. I suspect the rumors about the mansion played a part in that. If nobody thought the house was cursed, they wouldn't have. I'm sure you were afraid as well. You saw me and thought I was not of this world. That I looked like a demon. I thought you looked like an angel. A what? I at least thought you looked more like an angel than a demon. It never once crossed my mind that you might be evil. But I understand your situation now. Because of your appearance, you lived all alone in this dark mansion. For 10 years. It was never really an inconvenience. They bring me all the supplies I need. You big liar. Have you never considered running away? That's not an option. Because of the sun? No, I can move during the night if I really wanted to. I'm being watched, to ensure I don't leave. Watched? They can't allow anyone to find out that I'm alive, particularly at the Bollinger estate. if I were to run and they were to find out, I would probably be killed. If only I didn't stand out so much, I might be able to stay out of sight easier. But also, I had been holding on to a little hope, I think. Hope that I might be able to return someday. I have all but given up that hope now, though. Not that I ever had enough willpower to really fight for it. I see. You don't need to worry about pitying me either. It's long since become normal to me. That's not something that should ever become normal. So, what was that really a moment ago? You don't actually have a condition that makes you argue with yourself, do you? Please, tell me. You don't have to believe me. In fact, I doubt you will. You're free to think I'm completely mad. Don't worry, I want to know. I can hear the witch's voice. The witch's voice? It started when I first arrived at the mansion. No one else can hear it either. Like I said, it sounds crazy. Not at all. I said I would trust you, so I believe you. Maybe he's not well. Yeah, that has to be it. 10 years all alone in one place and you're bound to start hearing things. He seems like a delicate person too. Thinking about it like that, I'm starting to feel really sorry for him. Do I want to know what you're thinking? I'm here for you. Huh? I've made up my mind. I'm gonna stay here with you. Wait, what? Don't worry, I'll shout so loud you won't be able to hear that silly witch's voice anymore. Will you now? If you hear it again, let me know, understood? You don't have to be afraid. I never said I was. Whenever you hear it, I'll be there with you holding your hand. Well, we kind of took the extremely long route, but there you have it. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master. Master. Now, where should we begin? I know, supper. Are you hungry? What should I make? Slow down, please. What is it? If there's something you'd like, I'm happy to accommodate. You actually intend to stay here. Again. After what happened last time. Because of what happened. Because of that, we're finally able to see past each other's surface. I want us to try again from the beginning. And this time, actually try to be considerate of one another's feelings. That's a promise, Master. Alright. I can stay here, right? I don't mind. I'm glad to hear it. Say. Yes, Master? If you ever want something from me, could I please ask you to put it into words? I don't have much faith in my ability to pick up on things. Got it. Then here's something to start with. What do you say we open some of these windows? Open the windows. Yeah, we don't have to if you think it will cause you problems, but it would be nice to get a little light in here. I'd like to put an end to this house being a dark, closed-off cave. I wasn't the one who barred the windows. You weren't? They were like that when I arrived. Made it seem like a very appropriate place to lock me away. While I am sensitive to light, yes, as I mentioned, a little sun through the windows shouldn't cause any problems. Alright then, can I ask you to help me open them? Let's both lighten this place up. Looks like this mansion's about to be a little cheery now. Just a little bit. After a few moments of silence, Michel gave me a curt nod. While we couldn't do anything about the windows that had been boarded up, the two of us forced open the ones that were just covered by rusted over shutters. When we got the first one open, a beautiful stream of light like nothing I'd ever seen before. Flooded into the dark mansion's halls. I had assumed that spring would never come. All we had to do was talk to each other, listen to each other, and everything else would fall into place. But it was that first step that was so hard, so much harder than either of us had expected. And now that the ice was melting, we had to treasure that. It might not have seemed like much to someone else, but to us, it was a huge accomplishment. This time, it'll all work out. It has to. I had all the confidence in the world when we were together, but now that I'm alone, in the dark, in the absolute silence of the night, I'm starting to get anxious again, starting to feel like something bad is going to happen, like I'm going to mess something up again. We took a big step today, and I know I have to keep it together, to keep thinking positive. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the woman hath committed 3 sins. She has lied, she has stolen, and she has betrayed her fellow man. It's alright. It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of, Giselle. Whatever happens, you have to hold fast to your faith in the goodness of others. You have no reason to tremble. Yes. Come in. That's odd. I don't think I was hearing things. There's no one there. What was that about? Oh. A glass? It's wine. And it's so warm. I guess he heated it on the fire for me. Oh, you. You could have at least said hi. I have a feeling this is going to work out. What if it was the witch? The light shining in through the windows is swallowed whole by the darkness, as if to say our time together never actually existed. We saw it though. Together we watched the light crack open the darkness. I'm begging you, please remember. Please, find yourself. Please, Giselle, don't let the things you felt, the warmth that fell over us, remain lost to you. I might have seen it. Seen the most beautiful light. Giselle. But are these truly my memories? Could they not be someone else's tale? Like all others we have seen so far? She was so bright and energetic, and I am neither of those. Besides, the maid needs not a tale of her own. This is not a story. These are memories. Mine and your memories, no one else's. It was all very much real. As were the kinder, happier days that came next. Kinder, happier days. Those words create a strange warmness within my chest. But at the same time, they make me indescribably anxious. Is there really happiness to be found down that road? Even if our past doesn't lead to happiness, it couldn't be worse than where we are now. Come, Giselle, to the spring that made us more than just strangers. Master, come on, get up. Up with you. Master. Ah, this is the scene now. What? See? What'd I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light. Morning? Wait a sec. Don't you hide under the bedspread. Get out of there. I'm fine with my room staying dark. What's she even doing in here? Oh, but Master, you agreed that I could open the windows. I did, yes. Don't worry, I put curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best parts of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of leaves. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now? Kind of. But you wouldn't be you if you weren't, so for now, I won't get on you about it. Also, now that I know your real intentions, no, never mind. I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. What did you think of me? Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality too. There's not a single good trait on that list. Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning after all. We've got a long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know. We can get this place cleaned up. You want to clean. Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place. My vision was still slightly unfocused, having not completely escaped from Morpheus' embrace. But I could see well enough to catch her smiling brightly. That was the first time I had gotten a good look at her in the light. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end the video for today. Thank you all for watching. I like this part of the story. Like, it took a lot for her to confess everything that happened, and for him to realize how much in the wrong he was, and for him to accept what the reality of their situation really was. So that's really good to know. Anyways guys, we're gonna continue onwards in the next one.